Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're focusing entirely on how to lower those electricity bills and win back your daily budget. Look, if you're sick of opening that utility bill and wondering, seriously, where did my money go? Well, you are absolutely not alone. We're going to dive deep into the data today, uncover some sneaky hidden energy drains, and lock down some everyday budget fixes you can literally start using right now. Let's get right into it. Okay, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll uncover the hidden energy drain. Then, mastering heating and cooling. Third, we're slaying vampire power. Next up, debunking some big energy-saving myths. And finally, smart upgrades for daily savings.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the hidden energy drain.
Let's just be real for a second. Opening that utility envelope or email can bring on a very real wave of dread, right? It makes you wonder, why on earth are our electricity bills always climbing even when we haven't changed our habits at all? Well, the truth is, there are massive market-level forces making it way more expensive just to keep the lights on these days.
To put that into perspective, looking at the data, I was honestly shocked to see that in some areas, electricity prices have surged over 20% since 2020. Over 20%. That is a huge jump. It means optimizing our daily routines isn't just a nice eco-friendly bonus anymore. It's an absolute financial necessity. Those massive wholesale price spikes, they flow straight down to us, the consumers. So we've got to fight back by managing the stuff we can actually control in our own homes.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer difference in power between the everyday devices sitting in your house right now. Just look at the wattage gaps. A standard kitchen dishwasher pulls a massive 1,200 to 1,500 watts when it's running. A microwave, about 1,000 watts. But then you contrast that with your home office laptop, which barely sips about 100 watts. Although, quick side note, a beefy gaming computer can easily pull 500. Figuring out exactly how power-hungry your appliances are is literally step one in plugging those daily budget leaks.
Moving on to Section 2, mastering heating and cooling.
If we really want to see a dramatic, noticeable drop in our bills, we've got to go after the heavy hitters. Believe it or not, heating and cooling can consume up to a staggering 50% of the average household's energy bill. That's half your bill right there. Hot water takes up another 25%, and literally everything else, your TV, lights, that blender you use once a month, is just a remaining quarter. So if we tackle this massive 50% chunk first, it's an automatic huge win for your daily budget.
So, how do we tackle it? Let's picture a totally relatable scenario. It's a ridiculously hot summer day, you walk in the front door, sweating, and your very first instinct is to sprint to the thermostat and crank it down as low as it goes, say 17 degrees Celsius, just to blast the room with freezing Arctic air. You figure, hey, I'll just turn it off once it cools down. But wait, does that actually save money?
Actually, no way. The answer is a resounding no. According to the CSIRO, blasting your AC briefly at 17 degrees is nowhere near a thrifty choice. It takes a monumental amount of energy to force a hot room down to that icy temperature so fast. Get this, for every single degree you lower the temperature, your energy use spikes by 5 to 10%. Crazy, right? Instead, setting your unit to a moderate 26 degrees and just letting it run continuously during the day is far, far cheaper. Modern inverter air conditioners are practically designed for this. They efficiently adjust their output to maintain a nice, steady temp, rather than hyperventilating trying to flash freeze your living room.
And you know, we can actually give our AC units a major hand for absolutely free using passive cooling. It's as simple as closing your blinds before the midday heat hits or tossing a draft stopper on external doors to keep the hot air out. Also, flicking on a ceiling fan can make you feel 2 to 3 degrees cooler instantly, which means you can bump that AC thermostat even higher. You can even roll up your rugs to expose the cool hard floors underneath, which honestly just feels great on a hot day anyway. These tiny daily behavioral tweaks dramatically reduce how much you have to rely on expensive mechanical cooling.
All right, up next, Section 3, slaying vampire power daily.
Now, it is time to talk about the silent budget killers in your home, invisible leaks. We're talking about vampire power or standby power. This is the energy an appliance actively drains when it's plugged in but completely out of use. You look at it and think it's off, but it's really just sitting there in standby mode, quietly guzzling power 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Let's put some hard dollars and cents to this, pulling from Origin blog data. A wireless router running constantly, that's over $41 a year. A printer sitting in standby, $32. A digital video recorder, over $31. And this one blew my mind.
An Xbox left in that convenient instant on mode costs you about $26 a year, just to sit there doing nothing.
When you actually add all of this up, the cumulative effect is pretty shocking. The energy stolen by these little phantoms can cost a household up to $270.62 every single year. Think about that. That represents roughly 5 to 10% of your entire household's electricity usage. You are literally paying over $270 annually just for your appliances to sit around. Suddenly, reaching down to flip a switch at the wall seems like a pretty high return activity, doesn't it?
Moving right along to Section 4, Energy-Saving Myths Debunked. Sometimes our absolute best intentions are secretly draining our wallets. Take myth number 1, for example. Hand-washing dishes saves way more energy and water than running the dishwasher. Guys, this is completely false. The data shows that washing by hand actually uses around 7 times more hot water than a modern dishwasher. And since we know hot water makes up a massive 25% of your energy bill, standing at the sink is actually costing you quite a bit. The real budget fix? Run a full dishwasher load at an efficient 50 degrees, and ideally run it during your off-peak electricity hours.
Okay, here's myth number 2. Closing air vents in unused rooms saves energy. It sounds like total common sense, right? Like, why spend money heating or cooling an empty guest room? But it's actually a massive misconception. Closing those vents actively increases the pressure inside your ductwork. That leads to higher duct leakage, totally unbalances your system, and basically forces your AC to work way harder just to push air around the house. So you aren't saving energy at all. You're just stressing out your HVAC system. Bottom line, leave those vents open.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Smart Upgrades for Daily Savings.
Let's talk about the ultimate daily budget fixes, pairing your new everyday habits with some clever technology. First up, your basic line of defense. Start washing your clothes in cold water. That alone saves 50 to 85% of the energy normally used per load. Next, shift your high-energy chores to off-peak hours if you're on a time-of-use tariff. Actually switch things off at the wall to kill that vampire power. And please, upgrade your old lights to LED bulbs. They use a whopping 75% less energy and last up to 10 times longer. It's a no-brainer.
Now, to really take back control, you've got to understand your own specific data. Energy Australia has this fantastically simple 4-step energy audit method you can do right in your living room. Step 1, just estimate the hours a specific appliance is used per week. Step 2, find its kilowatt rating. You can almost always find this printed on the back or in the manual. Step 3, multiply those kilowatts by the hours used. And Step 4, multiply that total by your electricity unit cost, which is sitting right there on your utility bill.
Let's see how this math actually plays out in real life. Take a standard refrigerator, pulling 0.15 kilowatts. If it runs 168 hours a week, that totals 25.2 kilowatt hours. Multiply that by a standard unit cost of, say, 21 cents, and it costs you $5.29 a week. Once you see the actual math written out like this, it completely transforms energy consumption from this invisible, confusing concept into real, tangible dollars you can actively manage.
And the best part? Once you figure out exactly where your power is going, you can just automate your savings. Investing in a little smart tech yields some incredibly serious results. Smart plugs, for instance, can actively manage your electricity flow, automatically killing that vampire power to your entertainment center the minute you go to sleep. Smart thermostats learn your daily routine and can easily slash those massive heating and cooling costs by 10 to 20% without you lifting a finger. And looking at the big picture, integrating solar panels with real-time smart monitoring lets you see exactly when you're producing energy so you can run your appliances virtually for free. Adopting these smart upgrades can easily result in 10 to 30% reductions across your total bills. Honestly, it's the absolute best defense against those wild wholesale market spikes.
We've definitely covered a ton of ground today, from optimizing your AC to finally doing your own energy math. You officially have the tools to completely transform that utility bill. So, I want to leave you with one final practical question to act on the literal second this explainer ends. What is the very first energy vampire you're going to unplug today? Seriously, go find it, flip that switch, and start taking your daily budget back. Thanks so much for joining me today.